name is Ruddy Shappee. I'm the Special Projects Manager aboard the USS Midway Museum. I started volunteering when I was in the Boy Scouts, when I was very, very young. And I volunteered all my life. I volunteered as a scoutmaster, as a explorer advisor. I volunteered to do theatrical work for the Navy. I volunteered at the Old Globe. I've been a volunteer ever since I was probably 15 years old. As a matter of fact, when I was a high school teacher, my high school U.S. government class, none of my students could graduate unless they did 20 hours of volunteer work in the community. So I am a strong believer in volunteerism and community work. After teaching for 20 years, no, it was about 18 years, well, yeah, 20 years, say. As I said before, I was teaching at San Diego State at night, and I was really bored with that because I was teaching the same courses over and over again, saying the same things. Not much room for creativity there. I heard about the opportunity. I'd been hearing about the Midway. It's coming, it's coming. You know, it took 12 years to get this ship. So that battle was being fought, and I would read about it in the newspaper. I had friends who were advisors on the board and that sort of thing, and they said, it's coming, it's coming. Finally, they said, it's really getting close, and we have opportunities for people to start volunteering. Now, while I was volunteering here, I also heard about the whale watch thing. And so I was volunteering at both places at the same time. But there was a reason that I stopped volunteering there and doubled my efforts volunteering here. And that was because of the familial environment of our organization here. Everybody loves everybody. No one is superior to anyone. CEO goes into the docent locker every morning and sits down and has a cup of coffee with the newest docent and raids the donut box along with all the rest of the guys. So there's no one here that's any more special than anyone else. I didn't find that in some of the other organizations I went to, where volunteers are kind of considered to be lower skilled, you know, and not as equitable treatment. So I stopped doing that and redoubled my time here. Finally we just completed a $9.1 million theater down here on Battle of Midway. I was the advisor for that. All the exhibitry, the design of the inside of the theater, I worked on that for 5 years. That's all I did for 5 years, from developing the histories to the story, the movie, all the exhibits. 5 years of my life. 5 years of thinking about it, 5 years of waking up in the middle of the night, worrying about it, or what did I miss? I traveled to Florida, to Cleveland, to Texas. I found the faces of the young pilots who died in that battle. I found out where they went to high school, what sports they were in, what courses they took. I became very personally involved with the young men. So during that 5 years, I wasn't living with those men, but I was living an existence where they were becoming, from names to ghosts to real people, with real bodies and real minds and real. I read their letters home. I knew the names of their families. That was really, really intense for me. And all of the exhibits you see up there, the makeup on those airplanes, I had a Hollywood artist come in and dirty those airplanes up so it looked like they were actually used. And the timeline and the pilots, the Japanese and the American pilots there, those cost about $40,000 a piece. And I had to look all over the world to find all the pieces to put together to have those made. So it was very, very intense, and of course all that was learning. I was becoming a better historian. I was becoming a better museologist, however you pronounce that, a museum person. I was becoming a better working with architecture, developing the structure of that sort of thing. A lot of conflict, a lot of fights, a lot of hair pulling, a lot of yelling, some yelling. But it was a hard project. But when it was done, it was like having a new baby. But it was a real downer when it was done, because I had been peaked out for so long, working on this thing, sleeping with it, eating with it, and then when it was over, it was all gone. It was there. It's something to be very proud of. But I was really on a downer, and that's when I had to start searching around for what's the next thing, and that's where I came up with this latest project. Every day, I struggled with that. But it's receiving international awards. And I did it as a volunteer. What a great triumph, you know, to volunteerism rocks.
Men, we've got a very short time to train and under severe conditions. But I have no doubt Torpedo 8 is the best in the world. And I expect each of us to do his utmost to destroy our enemy. If there is only one plane left, I want that man to go in and get a hit. We launch at dawn. Write letters home to your loved ones tonight. Get some shut-eye. We're gonna need it.
On the Hornet.
It's almost a cultural thing with me. I started volunteering when I was like 15 years old, 14 or 15 years old, in the Boy Scouts. And then I went on to, after I joined the Navy, I went on to be an explorer advisor in the explorer program. And I volunteered at the Old Globe Theater when I was stationed here in San Diego the first time. It's a great way to meet people and to get new opportunities, new skills that you wouldn't have had before. For instance, when I volunteered at the Old Globe, I got to do more set design. I'd studied a little bit of it in college, but that's how I finally was qualified to teach theater arts in high school, was because I learned that during my volunteer time with the Old Globe. So I found that it's a good way to learn more skills. Remember last time I talked about having extra cards to play? It gets you extra cards, okay? Also, the contact with people. A lot of people you don't know in this world, and there's a lot of interesting ones, and so that's another reason I volunteer.